Hello everyone, today we are talking about XDC, and I want to emphasize in today's video why I think XDC deserves a seat at the big table with the big boys like XRP, like XLM. This asset is so underrated. I think it's so underrated because trade finance is quite boring. And when it comes to XRP, XLM, if you're going to join that community today, for example, there's years and years of research laid out for you. For XDC, it takes a little bit of a initiative to actually dive a bit deeper. You have to do your own work with XDC. So I want to emphasize why I think XDC is one of the chosen ones. So we've got two pieces of new information. Then we've got a mind map, the main talking point of today's video, dissecting what is XDC network, what is in relation to its native token XDC, then the regulated connections, all of that good stuff. Sit back, relax, and without further ado, here we go. Okay, so firstly, I wanted to throw this in the video because I see a lot of XRP holders saying there's always only glitches with XRP. We can see here a glitch with XDC. $1 million per XDC. CoinMarketCap is known to be buggy. I wouldn't take this as anything, to be quite honest. I think the XRP holders do when they see a glitch. If you remember that time last year where our portfolios were in the trillions and quadrillions, CoinMarketCap is known to be glitchy. Now here we have a situation where in Volvo Global Trade, someone else is failing, a piece of the actual pie when it comes to XDC network. So here we can see IBM and Maastricht to shut down TradeLens supply chain platform. So you can see TradeLens was launched in 2018 with the goal of digitizing and simplifying global supply chains. The system was developed by IBM and Maastricht's GDT solution division as a blockchain-enabled shipping platform designed to promote more efficient and secure global trade. Well, when it comes to XDC network, when it comes to TradeFinex, when it comes to TradeTech, they are already handling this. You could argue, why don't they build on XDC? But we can argue also that there's more better and performant stakeholders building on XDC already. Now, here we have the mind map. I want to talk about how each of these things relate to XDC network. So firstly, we have ISO. Now, they have their own unique software that curates and manages digital documents. But in relation to XDC, is being used for document settlement. You know how huge it is when it comes to paperless. It's all in line with the 2030, World Economic Forum, or just the agenda in place for paperless, green. All the cryptocurrencies that we talk about on the channel are green. Right now you think about the electronic trade documents bill going through UK Parliament right now in full effect by mid-2023 to boost UK's international trade, which is already worth more than £1.4 trillion. Insane. We also have here TradeFinex, a digitized securities and derivatives trading platform actually built on XDC infrastructure. With TradeFinex, we're seeing elimination in slow trade times and friction in legacy financial institution payment processing. Now we also have TradeTech here, a member of the World Economic Forum, one of the few select members decided to launch Trader on XDC's or Zinfin's XDC network. Now we're seeing XDC at this collateral when it comes to the first security token backed by real world assets with trade finance, and on top of that, when it comes to the trader token and tokenization and trade assets, XDC is acting as settlement. And this is just the bottom left half of the mind map where you're seeing XDC being used in settlement and collateral. Now I want to shift to accelerated payments. Now back in May of this year in 2022, accelerated payments advances 750 million to businesses. Now why is this important? Why is this relevant? Well, it was actually delivered via TradeTech and executed on XDC. The collaboration between accelerated payments, TradeTech, XDC completes the recipient of funding with complete transparency, liquidity, and accountability. I mean, essentially, we can see here launching the world's first trade finance-based non-fungible token transaction with accelerated payments as the asset originator. Also, we can see here EVM compatible. It's pretty self-explanatory when you're seeing projects that are running on ETH facing fee problems, scalability problems, speed problems, can easily migrate over to XDC. Now I want to move over to Impel. Now a lot of people have a misunderstanding where they think the coin or the token makes it compliant, ISO 2022 compliant, but it's API software that does. So XC Network's blockchain has smart contract functionality that allows Impel's API software to send ISO 2022 financial messages. And you can see here in the case of XBTC, wrapped BTC. So collateral options for Impel's financial messaging, services for financial messaging, one-chain bridge wraps Bitcoin one-to-one collateral to send over XDC network, wrapped XBTC as an XRC20 token uses collateral for payment. So in turn, a fraction of sent transaction fees and settles in 2 seconds. This is huge. This is untapped and huge. Imagine you're seeing BTC, possibly ETH or ERC20 tokens. All XRC20 tokens through Impel are made compliant. Even when you look at the ecosystem with the XRC20 tokens up there. Also, our free Corda. Now, when you think about the bridge between XinFin and the Corda network, where you're seeing XDC move freely between Corda network and their own, you can see XDC act as a settlement token within the Corda network. There's definitely a lot more to go over, but I want to jump to regulated connections here because the video is running a bit longer than expected. So the TFD initiative, so I've talked about it so many times on the channel. I want to talk about what it actually is. So it's a business community where institutions can join to develop business ideas, opportunities around the trade finance asset class. And this is institutional liquidity we are talking about here. Obviously, you know the asset managers, the banks on this list, and XDC at the bottom. Big names. On top of that, another regulated connection, which is the ITFA. XinFin's XDC Network, the first blockchain company to join the global TFD initiative and part of the ITFA. You have to follow these regulated connections, follow where they're going. In XDC's case, you got the ITFA, and for example, LCX, you got the World Economic Forum. Just for reference, the ITFA is a worldwide trade association for companies, financial institutions, supply chain, and they associate with the ICC, sponsor of the TFD initiative, and they endorse XDC, a world business institution that represents over 45 million companies, 45 million. And we can see here who's interconnected to Andre Casterman from XinFin. So we can see here, non-executive director and advisor for Trade Tech. You can see Trade Tech on the mind map. I'm going to pull that over here. Further down, we can see non-executive director and advisor for Arnesio on the mind map over there. We can also see here INTIX not on the mind map, but we can also see XinFin, 2 years strategy and market engagement. We can see Impel, strategy and market engagement, and ITFA board member and chair of FinTech committee. As I've said before, when it comes to my portfolio, I invest in people and ideas. And Andre Casterman is a person I'm personally invested in. Also, you can see here ICC for 5 years. We just talked about ICC there. And we can also see Swift 24 years. This is someone not to mess about with. Now, lastly, I'm going to have a video at the end of the video. Let me read this little paragraph here. TFD initiative presented by one of ITFA's emerging leaders in Bristol. Remember, Trade Tech and XinFin Official are the trade tech providers for repackaging, tokenizing, trade finance assets originated by top banks and SME platforms. That is pretty much it for today's video. It really pays to do your own research. It takes time out of your day, but it really pays off to be before the majority, because it's quite difficult investing in an asset that you're researching that no one else is really getting behind a lot. You don't have that level of security that you do have in maybe XRP or when it comes to QNT. So you really have to do your own research, do your own due diligence, and be early. That chart where it's the innovators crossing the chasm, early majority, late majority, and the laggards. We are in the early stages with XDC. Made this far, maybe consider joining the Discord down below. There's an XDC chat to talk about XDC. Hasn't been active in a while, so join down below. But if it's fun the video, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like down below, and I will definitely see you guys in the next one.
Trade Tech is the fintech at the centre of ITFA's TFD initiative. Trade Tech acts as the hub for originators and investors to negotiate distribution effectively. Neil spoke about standardization being one key deliverable technology can provide. Consider the BAFT MRPA. When it was introduced, it was adopted at scale industry-wide. I believe Trade Tech has the opportunity to have the same impact with distribution. Investors who have typically approached banks on a one-to-one basis, with each bank running an originate to distribute model, or just simply wanting to distribute unwanted assets, now don't need to do this. Trade Tech lowers the cost of capital for investors by providing an off-the-shelf product which is highly accessible, a key factor to attract liquidity. I'm not sure why that's so fuzzy. But in conclusion, I think we've spoken a lot about connectivity, collaboration, and core processes, going back to basics and building on them, not creating something entirely new. My view is that with the help of technology and participants, trade finance distribution can appeal not only from a bank's perspective, but also from a corporate's point of view. And that, in turn, would benefit the whole trade ecosystem.